break up with you, dude. Okay? Stop calling me TOS Andy, dude. Stop calling me TOS Andy, okay? It is perfectly timed. Skip this. We're good.
Security cameras are our eyes when we're not around. And sometimes
Hey,
those
3v3,
eyes uncover
why
some
would you
mighty
miss my
bizarre
fucking
happenings.
link?
Other times,
Link?
they uncover
Link?
unspeakable crimes and tragedies. Still other times, what we see makes so little sense that we view the footage and wind up with more questions than answers. Whatever the case may be, one thing's for certain: security cameras rarely turn up anything boring. Here now are the 10 strangest,
Just
weirdest,
take
and
KFC.
downright bizarre occurrences caught on security cameras. Car 1, Thief 0. This video shows a would-be car thief not even beginning to learn his lesson and paying dearly for it. He tries to throw a brick at a car, but the glass must be super sturdy since the
Pepper
brick
jam.
bounces right off. Undeterred, the thief tries again, encountering the same result. Rather than take the hint and move on to another car, or perhaps give up crime altogether since it's clearly not for him, the thief chucks the brick at the car yet a third time. It ricochets off the car for yet a third time, this time knocking the man upside the head and sending him down for the count. To add justice to injury, the car's owner shows up shortly afterwards and has the now extremely concussed thief arrested.
Yikes, dude.
Plus, it turns out this man had been robbing other cars before meeting his match, and his arrest meant everything he stole got quickly returned.
Nice.
There aren't too many better examples of crime doesn't pay out there. Dogs 1, car 0. Somebody in the Turkish province of Sakarya had a ridiculously expensive car repair bill to look forward to, all because of a bunch of feral dogs who decided, for one reason or another, to utterly demolish the vehicle right in front of them.
Why?
A pack of 8 or 9 stray dogs descended on a car and quickly began biting it to shreds. And by that, I don't mean they just bit a few holes in the tires and scratched up the paint job. No, they decimated this car, working together to remove the bumper entirely.
Deserved.
Many of them then go pillaging inside the hood of the car, though the security footage doesn't show what they found in there, if anything. Nobody knows for sure what motivated the attack. Were the dogs starving and thought they smelled food in the car's engine? Was there a cat under the hood? Did they see human thieves do the same thing and decided it looked fun?
Yeah, that was
Or
it,
was it,
dude.
of all things, revenge?
Yeah,
A
dude.
Sakarian veterinarian named Mustafa Yildiz speculated as much, suggesting that a similar car might have run over a member of the pack. If so, the dogs might have assumed this car was the culprit and that this car must pay.
Wait, are dogs this
But even that's
intelligent?
just a hypothesis. Only the pups know for sure, and they're not
Time
snitching
for some
because they're all
Craigasm.
very good dogs.
No
The
snitching,
mysterious
boys.
ghost train. This is one of the
Ghost
most
train.
mysterious bits of security footage out there. The video takes place at a seemingly empty train station, supposedly on March 10th, 2018. After a few seconds of nothing, a
Ghosts?
train pulls up. Well, kind of. It's clearly the outline of a train, but it's also completely faint and transparent, almost like a ghost. This so-called ghost train stops at the station, waits for passengers,
It's
of which
transparent.
there are none, and then departs. So, what happened? Well, nobody knows. Some feel like it was a camera glitch, others think it was faked with basic CGI. But where
True.
is this train? We don't really know that either. The video claims it came from China, but several commentators insist, based on the PA speeches, that this was a Russian train station. It's not even that a ghost is the least mysterious part of the ghostly video, but here we are.
Guys,
Crime and
what is
contortionism.
subverse?
I'm typically loath to praise criminals for much of anything, but this guy is just plain impressive.
He's
Prison cameras
naked!
captured a man
Hey, he's naked, dude!
gathering of his clothes. The prisoner makes his way down the hall to what he likely assumed was freedom, but probably wound up being a couple of guards uninterested in anything except marching this man back to his cell. Some people are simply too professional to be impressed by anything. The creepiest Ronald Reagan. Be prepared to never think about Ronald Reagan the same way again. Not after watching security footage of a man wearing nothing but a Reagan mask and a sock placed over his most private of regions. Reality TV actress Danielle Yancey of Jersey Belle posted security footage from her home showing the naked masked man
blurred out,
creeping
okay.
around her backyard on New Year's Eve of 2015. The man is seen crouching down, peering through windows,
It's blurred out.
and after a short while, darting away from the premises. Since no actual harm was done, Yancey took it in stride, tweeting, "Interesting night in. Way to ring in the new year. Love having security cameras. Thank you, naked boy." It's the kind of zany incident that lends itself to all kinds of jokes. What can you come up with? I'll start with, win one for the stripper. Reaganomics After Dark.
That's not
Please
funny.
welcome to the stage the red hot Reagan Peppers.
Okay, that's not funny.
Can you top these one-liners? Let us know in the comment section
That's
below.
dude. That's just not funny though.
Vape fail. If you're sick of everyone vaping these days, well, here's a video for you. A group of guys are hanging outside a building when all of a sudden, sparks start shooting out of one man's pocket. It's not just a few sparks either, as it truly looks like a firework display has gone off in this man's pants. As the man jumps around in panic, you can see him frantically fiddling inside his pocket. Finally, he grabs his e-cigarette, which had malfunctioned and exploded somehow, and throws it to the ground.
Holy
Shortly
shit.
thereafter, the e-cig stops sparking. The man's friends check to see if he's hurt, and then they all go inside, leaving the now useless vape machine on the ground. How could such a thing happen, you wonder? Most likely, the explosion occurred as a result of overheated batteries.
Yeah.
Perhaps the man
lithium.
kept his vape
Right.
on too long, or perhaps the vape was faulty and lent itself to battery destruction. Thankfully, no one was harmed, unless you count this man's pants. A
Guys, what is
premature
sunburst?
elevator. Here's a story that could have easily turned fatal, but thankfully went no
Holy
further than jaw-dropping
shit!
close call. In China, a man enters an elevator, as millions do every day. This elevator, however, was malfunctioning somehow, and it started rising mere seconds
Oh,
after opening
dude,
its doors.
that's actually fucking trippy.
Problem is, the man was only halfway into the elevator when it started to ascend.
Take my prime
Meaning
sub
his lower
xQc
torso
and
was on
keep up
course
the
to get
work hog
crushed
in the
between
chat.
the elevator and the building. The man survived unharmed, albeit shaken up and likely having gained a newfound love of stairs. A hungry pizza deliverer. Perhaps the hardest part of delivering pizzas is how you're constantly surrounded by delicious food that
That's
you don't
true,
get to
dude.
eat. Even still, most delivery people don't give in to the temptation of actually eating their customers' orders. But here's one totally gross exception. This 2018 surveillance footage captures a Domino's pizza delivery man on an elevator in Surrey, British Columbia, heading upwards towards his customer. As soon as the elevator door closes, however, he reaches into his bag and slides out the pizza box. He then opens the box and begins eating.
The
This
toppings!
man washed his hands beforehand.
The
But turns
toppings!
out, the thought didn't even cross his mind. After
What a
chopping off
rat!
2 pieces of topping, the elevator opens back up. The man closes the pizza, slides it back into the box, and heads off to deliver the food. You'll be happy to know the delivery man didn't get away with this. The hotel's concierge happened to be watching the footage and immediately ran to warn the customer of what happened. Domino's was also informed, and the delivery man was quickly fired.
Easy
Hopefully, this
clap.
impromptu snack was worth it. The murdering cop. Sadly, not all security camera footage is
This is just fake, dude. This just looks like some complete fake shit, dude.
fun or harmless. Here's a perfect example of something bizarre that isn't funny or light at all. Rather, it's downright scary. On April 18th, 2016,
Yeah, dude. Can we even watch this, dude? Don't skip me. We might have to, dude.
L_2.
It's fine.
a woman named Missy Bevers was found beaten to death at a Texas church. Over 3 years later, her killer is still on the loose. The only possible suspect is in this video. And while nobody knows their identity for sure, everyone can see how eerie the footage is. This person, dressed as a police officer, is walking the halls of a church where they allegedly murdered Bevers. And they're doing so holding what was almost certainly the murder weapon. This person is seen wandering around the church, opening doors seemingly in search of someone. Here's hoping that one day, this murderer will be brought to justice.
What the fuck?
This despite how after 3 years, this crystal clear footage of the suspect has led to no solid leads whatsoever. The ELISA Lam Mystery. Even without context, this security video is still pretty bizarre.
Yo, dude, if you say watch numbers, I'm not gonna perma you, dude. I'm not kidding. I will perma you. No
The
kidding.
woman gets into an elevator and starts frantically pressing various buttons while huddling in an elevator corner. She then goes to the door and starts looking out in every direction in an almost panicked manner. At one point, she exits the elevator and starts gesturing with her curiously loose hands, perhaps talking to someone, or even nobody at all. After that, she walks off and the elevator finally closes, then opens, then closes again. The whole thing gets far creepier when the context that the woman in the video is ELISA Lam, a college student who was reported missing by her parents. Just days after police released this elevator footage, the last known video of Mrs. Lam, her body was found naked and bloated in a water tank at the same hotel where she had her final elevator ride.
What the
To
fuck?
this day, nobody knows exactly what happened the day ELISA Lam exited both the elevator and this mortal coil.
Any smiles?
The official autopsy revealed no foul play, nor were there any significant traces of drug or alcohol in her system. Lam was bipolar, so some speculate she was having a terrible episode that resulted in her death. ELISA Lam has become something of a modern-day myth, and her mysterious death has been a creative boon for many. TV shows like Castle, American Horror Story, and How to Get Away with Murder have based episodes,
Watch
and
this
even entire
xQc.
seasons on Lam's story. There have also been movies and even songs based on her and
Complex
the endless
systems often have
speculation
nonlinear
over exactly
behavior,
what happened.
meaning they may respond in different ways
Okay,
to the
dude,
same
listen.
input depending on their state or context. In mathematics and physics, the interacting components of a complex system form a "you are handsome." Marda Tafil xQc, Tata Gila Ekaf Albert Allen.
Guys, can you guys save those complete dog shit fucking spam, dude, for when we're out of content? And chat will eat up anything for content, dude. Can we do that, dude?
And it all
Fucking
began with
hell, man.
perhaps the most bizarre security footage of all time. Thanks for watching this top trending video. If you enjoyed
This is top, dude. This is top content, dude. The fuck is wrong with you guys? Fuck, dude. I'm done.